Good morning, everyone. My name is Tim Langford, and I have the honor to be able to greet you here to our Friday at 11 a.m. as we do every week, Eastern Standard Time, to our national conference call. I appreciate the comments and please, I'm always looking for ways to be able to enrich this experience for as many listeners as we are growing to become, and it's fun to see those numbers grow. But tell me how it can be a better experience for you. I do my due diligence to try to have an agent on like I wish we could have as quality of an agent on every week as I do today. When you have somebody who is um, 21 years old, you're thinking that that person, male or female, so I say that person's going to be out partying and not concerned about going out and helping other families in this business. But guys, you're in for a treat. A 21-year-old who did last year what I believe every one of our listeners can who are on my call this morning. I believe you could do exactly what Zach was able to do. You could duplicate his results. And excited to share Zach Rawson with you here in about 10 minutes or so. But we get to talk about some of the other folks who are going out and making a tremendous difference in other people's lives too. That we always start with our leaderboard. I'm going to make a quick advertisement still about the video that you saw just a few minutes of. Becky in our IT department helped put that little montage slash video together for us, and she is the one who you hear giving our leaderboards as she will be this morning. But for the folks who are there's somewhere between 40 or 50 agents who will be going to that beautiful hotel with us in just a few months. We will even have a just as spectacular, if not even more special, a year from now that you can qualify this year. Guys, there is a gentleman today who almost qualified for our trips for his week last week. How about that? So it is possible. You can average, oh my goodness, I want to say dismal, but you're out protecting families. A $5,000 month. That's all you're looking for to average in life sales, and that qualifies you for our trip. And that was the video that you saw earlier. We have again a very special person. Becky does such a tremendous job for us in the IT department, and yet she's willing to take up her time and share with us leaderboards for this last week. Becky, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Hi, Tim. Can you hear me okay?
You're coming through terrific.
Okay. So I will start with the top annuity producers for the fourth week of January. Coming in at number 5 on this list is Andrew Kokanowski with one submitted annuity for $57,000. Our fourth spot is Linda DiSabato with one submitted annuity for $104,649. In third place is David Cawson with one submitted annuity for $150,000. Our second spot for the week is James DeWitt with two submitted annuities for $169,000. And in first place for our top annuity producers is John Baird with one submitted annuity for $260,675. Moving over to our top life producers for the fourth week of January. At number 17, we have Stephen Castonguay with one submitted application for $1,043. At 16 is Dennis Hammaman with one submitted application for $1,308. Coming in at 15 is Todd Goodwin with one submitted application for $1,457. At 14 is Tony Forbes with 3 submitted applications for $1,800. At 13 this week is Mr. Tim Langford with 4 submitted applications for $2,310. Our 12th spot is held by Andre Dane with 8 submitted applications for $2,345. In 11 is Paul Brinson with 4 submitted applications for $2,580. Coming in at 10 is Jesse Teague with 5 submitted applications for $3,056. At number 9 is Jose Nunez with 3 submitted applications for $3,652. At number 8, we have Dell Rice with 3 submitted applications for $4,581. Our 7th spot is held by Frank Indris with 11 submitted applications for $6,456. In number 6, we have Millie Gailey with 6 submitted applications for $6,731. In number 5 is Christine Jesse with 1 submitted application for $6,900. Our 4th spot is held by Josh Savak with 9 submitted applications for $7,977. Our 3rd spot is held by Devon Lamont with 3 submitted applications for $20,283. In our 2nd spot for the 4th week of January is John Kaler with 3 submitted applications for $31,826. And holding our top spot for the week in Life Producers is Charles Stivers with 2 submitted applications for a total of $41,199.
Okay, Becky, are you sure about those last 2 numbers?
That is what is written, Tim.
Wow. Could you please just so everyone who's listening hear some of the phenomenal blessings of personal income. Guys, remember in this business, depending on your business structure, you're on somewhere between a 50 to 70,000, a 50 to 70% contract, and you grow and you can earn as much as 100% contract. The 2 persons who Becky just mentioned are not on a beginning contract. They've been with us for several years, and they pretty much make what they sell. So would you please tell everyone what the annualized submitted premium that both John and Charlie submitted this last week?
John's submitted premium was $31,826, and Charlie Stivers was $41,199.
Fantastic. Becky, as always, thank you for bringing a cheery voice to this hour, and appreciate you as always.
Thank you, Tim.
I'm flabbergasted. I feel like I've done a couple good months. I've been doing mortgage protection for 6 years, been in the insurance business for 23 years, and my best month, I've eclipsed 50,000 in a month 3 times. That's a strong week. I believe my strongest week happened in one of those 50,000 stints per month. My strongest week was 26,000, and both Charlie and John just blew the doors off of my strongest week. Guys, I implore you to reach out if you know Charlie or if you know John, anyone. I'd say if you saw the numbers in the top 10 of our leaderboard, if you heard the numbers, you recognize any of those names, do your best to find that person at our expo. Top 10, those folks are on track to make $350,000 this year. Anyone who's over 2,000, the top 13 are on track to make $100,000 this year by just this last week's production, of course. Expo's coming up March 10th. If you got the special invite, if you're one of what we call our top guns, and it takes a bit to get into that elite producer status, you're going to be invited to our Wednesday prior to Expo. But do everything that you can. We leave it wide open. We're going to have 30 carriers at our expo on March the 10th. That's a Thursday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Set aside that time. You want to be in Indianapolis on that day. I will be able to personally introduce you to our market key person at all of Phoenix, Biff Baker. Will be in attendance. The gentleman who flew in from California yesterday to pour into our agents. We had a special day here at the campus. We had over 50 agents involved with having Adam Chate with us. He will also be at that expo. You'll be blessed, and you'll be able to leave that expo with a renewed. It's not a rah-rah session as much as it's a educate me session, and you'll come away educated. And we're trying to pour into you. You'll see our enthusiasm for what we do. We are passionate about what we do. I'm passionate about introducing you to Zach Rawson. Zach is becoming more than just a business partner through his manager that. Alex Joyce and I will be spending some time out with one of our FMO partners next week. And Alex is Zach's manager. Alex can't speak highly enough of Zach and of his accomplishments and of his focus and of just flat out of his genuine concern to help people get protected. And you think of a 21-year-old, oh, it's about the money. You know, if he's doing 6 figures of issue paid business, it's about the money. Well, I hope that you can sense a little bit of Zach's heart coming out through our next conversation. If Zach, if you've got 15, 20 minutes, I appreciate that. And if you could hang around for a few minutes, if we have any questions, because I want our listeners to somehow just get a sense of who you are and why you're doing this business. And it was so fun to be with you as one of our top agents in the last half of 2015 in New Orleans last week. And sounds like you had a little bit of fun, I hope.
Yeah, I had a great time out in New Orleans, Tim. I got to say I'm humbled by the opportunity to speak with you today and speak to everyone on the call. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate Gordon Marketing giving us the opportunity to go to New Orleans and have a good time down there.
Absolutely, you earned it, as well as your manager, as well as a couple other agents in your guys' agency. From the names list here, Zach, I'm seeing about 40 states that you're touching lives in. That means a lot, that you have no financial interest in these agents, men and women, and yet you're willing to share. And I want them to hear a little bit about your story of why did you get into this business, and what is this business affording you to be able to do with what you see as your future.
Okay, great, Tim. Yeah, I'd love to tell everyone a little bit about my background. So growing up, I was actually part of a single home raised by my mother. She had 4 kids to take care of, so that was a little bit rough for our family financially, and that did put a lot of stress and extra pressure on us. we did end up losing the home I grew up in, which, oddly enough, that's what I'm really passionate about, helping people out with now, is preventing from losing that home. But we lost the home that we grew up in, which was a pretty tough time for us. And that kind of just dawned the importance on me of, planning for the unexpected and the importance of what we do, right? And from there, after that eye-opening experience, I went to IU in Bloomington, Indiana. Go Hoosiers, if any of you guys are Hoosiers fans. Then I've been with our agency ever since. They really just line up really well. The team that we have here lines up really well with my personal goals and objectives in life of helping other families. I've been through kind of a tough time, so I know what it's like to be in a period of financial strain. And what we do is really help people avoid that situation and help people plan for the unexpected. And that's something I'm very passionate about.
Very, very fun. More than fun. Very, very real. I remember you sharing before that you came from a single mom home, and yeah, but I did not know about you guys losing your home. Um, Share with our listeners, because I know that you don't go out of your way, but you make sure to share why you're there passionately, helping other folks get their homes protected, and that would be one real key thing for all of our listeners to hear, that you've got to have a story. More of my ability to connect with people comes from, hey, I've got two sons currently serving, one in the military, one's on disability, but in good shape. And then I talk about an older family, and then I've got by the way, I've got a 9-year-old. So get very personal. How do you incorporate your story about losing the home and share that with the families that you're trying to protect with? And how could our agents try to find something like that in their life?
That's exactly right, Tim. Everyone in the world, no matter who they are, they have a story. Everyone has a great story, and everyone has a story that should be shared. It doesn't matter if it's someone that you know that's been through a tough time, whether you've personally been through a tough time, a relative, a family member, or even a friend. It doesn't matter. You have a story, and the purpose of the story is to help build that emotional connection, like you said. I always lead off when I'm in the home. I tell them, I manage their expectations. I tell them that I'm going to tell them a little bit about myself, tell them a little bit more about our company, and then find out more about them. So when I make a recommendation, I can make sure it's the best fit for their family. So when I tell them I'm going to tell them a little bit about myself, that's when I tell my story, and I incorporate that into my in-home presentation, and I incorporate that into our system. And doing that, it really brings out the fact that you're a real person, right? You're not some guy there to sell them something, or some woman there to sell them something. You're there because you care. You're there for more than just getting a commission check. You're there for more than just signing someone up for mortgage protection. You're there because you actually care and are interested in helping their family. That's part of the mentality of going into it that I think that I have, and I think you have to be successful, is that there's a higher meaning to what we do than just getting that commission check. Obviously, that's great and wonderful. Everyone wants to make 6 figures. But if you have to have that mentality of really helping someone's family in order to be successful using mortgage protection.
Absolutely. What are there certain things that you always try to, if I would say specifically do, or is there anything that you, or would you say in like the top 5, whether it's making sure that you're sitting closer to the husband versus the wife, or sitting at the table, or sitting in the living room? Would you kind of go through a little bit of a step-by-step of how that you guys are, and I know when I say you guys, because I hear it from you and from Kyle, from Alex, that hey, this is our process. Would you kind of share with everyone what your process is and how you make that connection with people?
Yeah, absolutely, Tim. So first off, I'm not necessarily old-fashioned. I don't have to be at the kitchen table. So when I walk in, I'll ask them, where are you most comfortable? And I've pitched on a love seat with the husband on my right and the wife on my left. I've sat in someone's driveway. I've sat on the front porch. I've sat anywhere, and I've had success in all of those places. I just want them to feel as comfortable as possible when I get there, okay? And then when I get in the home, something that I always tell everyone I speak with is that we all have a theme in our life. me, you, whoever it is. And our theme generally centralizes around one thing, and that's family. Whether it's we work for our family, whether it's we want to spend more time with our family, whatever it is. And realizing going into the home that the people you're sitting down with are just like me and you, and they have that same thing that they care about, and that's family. That's their theme. And what they want to do is protect that family, the thing that's most important to them in life. So I look at it as our responsibility to help them achieve what they want. They already told us they want it. That's why we're at their house. So it's our job to go through the process and go through a system that works to give them what they want. So when I get there, I'll take a little bit of control after I get to know them a little bit. And we'll start with, like I said, getting to know me a little bit, knowing more about our company, and then finding more about the family. In that portion, I really can't capitalize enough that you got 2 ears and 1 mouth. You really have to listen and understand what's important to them. When you ask specific questions like how long have you been together or how did you meet, and the husband looks at the wife and you get that emotional spark between the two of them and she says, why don't you tell the story? That's how you know you're doing a good job. That's how you know you're doing something right, because they're willing to volunteer that information and you see them look at each other and you know why you're there. You're there because they love the person sitting next to them and they want to make sure if something happened to them that their family would be taken care of. Whether it's the children, the wife, it's all about their family, and that's what you have to focus in on. It's not about selling insurance. It's about protecting someone's family. It's about something much bigger than that.
Perfect. So I love the idea that, yeah, it doesn't matter wherever they feel comfortable at. They want to they want to do right there in the living room. You'll sit down and put your laptop or your folder right on your knees, won't you? And you share with people where they feel the most comfortable. Is that pretty much been your modus of operandum, your MO for the most part then?
That's exactly right. I want them to be as comfortable as possible so that when I ask them emotional questions, I mean, this is obviously a very emotional sale, so that when I ask them emotional questions about how they met or how long they've been in the home, what kind of ties they have to the home, whether it's a new home or they've been there for a long time, they have some emotion tied into it, whether they've been renting for years and it was their first home purchase, that's fantastic. Congratulations on the new home. Or they lived there for so long, they have so many memories built up in the home that they couldn't imagine life without living there. So I want them to feel as comfortable as possible, so when I ask those questions, I can really get them to talk to me, and they'll tell me exactly why I'm there. Obviously, I'm there for mortgage protection, but they'll tell me the reason behind why they want the mortgage protection. That's what's most important.
So you're going where they're feeling comfortable. You're making that connection. Are there little things that you're looking out for, whether it be like hobbies you sense that the people are involved with, or do you ever look for that wall of fame where they have children? And well, how do you
Yeah.
make that transition?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, from the second I get in the home, I'll say, thank you so much for inviting me to your lovely home today. And then as I'm walking into the house, even when I walk up to the house, I'm going to look if they have a wrestling sign out front. I'm going to look to see if they have nice landscaping and ask if they do the landscaping themselves. The whole purpose of when you first get there, the warm-up portion, is to start to build that rapport, to start to build that connection. And the most important thing with that is having something in common. Having that commonality is going to make them think. They won't necessarily say it, but they'll think, hey, I kind of like this guy, or I kind of like her. She's a nice, real person, right? So I'm going to talk to them about what's important, and obviously walking in the house, whether it's pictures of the kids on the wall, whether it's a collection of art, whether it's toy figurines or toy trains. I've had clients with toy trains all throughout the house where we talked about that for 10 minutes, right? And I showed an interest in that and got them talking, and then it was just a breeze from there. So at the very first step when you walk in is to start to build that connection and have a common interest. And yes, absolutely, I find pictures, if I can get the family to show me pictures of their children, or if they tell me, we recently went on this vacation, I'm like, oh, how was it? Can I see some pictures? And they show me the pictures, I know that I already have that connection established. And then I can expect a yes at the end, which is what's important, is getting a yes to protect their family.
Now I know the answer to this, but I want to kind of reiterate this. We probably have, let's say, 8 or 9 folks on who have never been on a call before, so I want them to hear it from you as well. But when you make that connection, what are you looking for as far as you're doing it for an intent, you're doing it for a purpose? and I guess we've got to kind of state the obvious for a lot of folks. You're there to do one thing. Maybe have you talk about that? And I know as elementary as that is, but what do you why do you like doing this? What prompted you to even sit with these folks?
That's a great question, Tim. The reason I'm sitting with them is because I am passionate about what I do, right? I am passionate about helping people protect their families, like I said, and the reason I'm there is to accomplish that goal. They asked me to come out to their home. They filled out a form, mailed it back in, and then they scheduled an appointment with me for one reason, and that's because they wanted to find out more about ways to protect their family. They already showed an interest. They said, I need help. I just don't know where to get it, right? So that's why I'm there, and that's my sole purpose of being there. When I go through the presentation, I do a fact find and find out that there might be assets or an opportunity for final expense or anything like that. That's not the purpose I'm there. It's great to have that information and maybe come back at a later date, but the reason I am there that day is to help them out with their mortgage protection of protecting their family and protecting their most valuable asset, and something they have so much vested in is their home.
Even as elementary as it is, I wanted everyone to hear you've got that lead right out in front of you. I mean, that, yeah, as silly as it kind of maybe sounds like at this point, but I thank you for sharing that. You are right on. We're there because they have contacted us and said, hey, can you come and help me? And guys, I want you to hear why Zach was so successful last year, because he's making that connection with people. He has a powerful story. My goodness, it doesn't matter if he's 21 or 71. So we've got several 70 plus on our team able to protect others. And one of the first questions I hear from a 70, well, I've got a 78-year-old. Do you think somebody would be willing to listen to me? Oh my goodness, of course. But in the same token, I think it may be even tougher for an 18, 19, 20-year-old, and yet you're hearing Zach, because it's over with. They have asked us to come into their home when they've allowed us to set that appointment. When you go from there, Zach, you're really just kind of doing a little bit of a fact finder, right? And average time in the home, how many minutes are you in the home on the average?
I'm in the home for usually I'm getting to the money portion about half an hour. So from there, whether or not we have to, negotiate, we always do drops, right? It's not necessarily negotiation. Whether or not I have to find something that fits their budget a little better based off of my recommendation. I always position it as a recommendation. I don't necessarily give them 3 options to choose from and confuse them, right? I want to keep it. They ask for our help, right? They don't know where to turn, so I want to position myself in a way where I can give them the recommendation and tell them this is what's best. So usually in about half an hour, 45 minutes, but usually closer to half an hour is my time in the home. And with them filling out the lead card, they filled out the lead card. They asked us to come to their house, and it's for their benefit. It's kind of our responsibility to help them. It's if we don't close it, if we don't help them protect their family, that's on us. It's not on the lead. It's never the tour. It's never the lead card. It's never the appointment. Every family asked you to come out there, so we have to realize what we did wrong and what we can do differently and grow from there. I think that's very important as well.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. When you what helps you? Are there any certain things that you hear to say, wait a minute, I need to focus on more of a carrier that, well, like, you'd go over to a Mutual Omaha, American Amicable, a Baltimore Life, on the disability or return of premium, or if that doesn't concern, but they want to go with living benefits. What kind of key things are you looking for to help guide you to what's the best product? Who's the best carrier for you to be able to set your clients up with?
Right. So I always say program, not product, just so I don't intimidate the client at all. That's just something that I do. So I try and find the best program or the best vehicle to put them on, right? Because if I don't put them on the right vehicle from the start, maybe they get declined, or maybe it elongates the process, and that's not the purpose of me being there. The purpose of me being there is to help their family. So when I do my fact find, I can kind of gauge, income, monthly budget, what they do for a living. If it's a construction worker or a male, and the wife stays at home, if he were to be injured, wow, what would they do, right? Then I can focus in on disability. If it's a younger client, I've sold return of premium before as helping plan for your retirement. This is going to be a program that you pay into, and if something happens to you, it's going to pay off your home. But if at the end of the term you never use the benefit, you're going to be 55 and you're going to receive $17,000, $20,000 right there, and you can put it in a retirement fund. Having that sales idea, that idea right there, really makes sense and clicks for a lot of younger clients. I generally use the return of premium for younger clients, and the disability for someone 40 to 50 that could use it. Also, with the living benefits, that also is kind of like a disability. If you become disabled for any medical reason, this will help you. So you can add value with all of those things, with more than just protecting the mortgage amount. You can add value with the living benefits, with the disability, with the return of premium options. Engaging their age and their health situation is really one way that I decide which program to put them on. And also, if it's an older client and they owe a lot of money on their house, let's say someone's 75 or 70 and they owe 150 grand, the likelihood of covering the full amount is pretty low. So in that case, I would do something called a mortgage payment protection, which I've heard you speak about before, which is a great resource. It's a great sales idea to really be able to capture more of the senior market and people that have a smaller budget. With that, just covering a period of time. So you're going to lower the face amount to cover their monthly mortgage payments for a specific period of time, whether it's a year, 3 years, whatever the case may be, just to give them that peace of mind that the house will be taken care of for that amount of time. That's another really strong way to help one of these families that's a little bit older.
Perfect. I don't want to make this a training call. We do that on Tuesday. But would you please, Mutual Omaha being here yesterday did a nice job of describing how to do a return of premium. But would you kind of lead a short training, I guess, of how an agent can, and when it's best, to look at the return of premium? Maybe start with what is a return of premium, and maybe explain the difference in a regular premium versus adding more money to it to make it a return of premium.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So first and foremost, what is return of premium, right? So return of premium is just a really great option that I really focus in on the younger market, whether it's someone in their 20s or younger 30s. That's a time where I'm really going to focus in on that option. And with that, what it is when they pay into the program, their family is going to have the protection in place. But then if they never use the protection, okay, because someone in their 20s or 30s isn't really thinking about death as much, right? They're not thinking about that side of life. Someone that's a little bit older, they understand that their time's coming, right? It's a little bit different. So someone that's younger, if you're having a little bit difficulty having them see the reality of anything can happen, right? It's not a matter of if something happens, it's a matter of when something happens. Adding that value of the return of premium option where they'll pay into the program, and if they don't use the benefit, they will get everything that they put into it tax-free back at the end of the term. But if something does happen in that term period, whether it's 20, 30 years, they'll get everything. Their family will be protected, and that's what's most important yet again. But if they never use the benefit, they get everything they put into it back. There's no risk. There's no loss for the family.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Make a note, guys. Everything gets returned to the client. It's only on a 20-year, 30-year program. The riders, though, would not be returned. Like I said, I don't want to try to make this too much of a training call, but that can be tremendous. Hey guys, we pay if you die, we pay if you don't die, and we pay if you almost die. Have you heard that one, Zach?
Yeah, I think I heard you say that in New Orleans last week.
Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah. So if they die, of course, this is an immediate payoff of whatever face value they went with. And don't try to go in and go for a real large face amount, guys. You want to focus in on their mortgage amount. and that's what you're there for. But if they die, that face amount is paid to the beneficiary. If they don't die, or let's go with if they almost die, so a disability product, right? Phoenix is, as Zach said, phenomenal with the living benefits, or go to a carrier of choice like Mutual of Omaha for a disability. But if they don't die, yes, we want to key in on that return of premium. Zach, you've been so generous with your time. I've been answering most of the questions here. A couple I've said, hey, let's talk after the call. Dorothy's also asking, so if you have a form in place for a fact-finding series of questions that you get answered. I do, Dorothy. I can send you that over. And if anyone, if you've not, if you're connecting with us on the first time, saw about 8 persons come on, I think 7 or 8 persons after we've introduced Zach, but we're speaking to a 21-year-old guys who did more than 6 figures of issue paid business last year. And one of my mantras for 2016, I want to help as many agents who want to make $116,000 in 2016. 116 in 2016, and it can happen. Really, if you're up and running, you should be able to do this in 6 months. I've not done less than 6 figures in the last 6 years of running with this program, and I've never done it more than 2 days a week. So, I was never as young and green behind the ears as as green as I was at age 21. Zach is just drawing circles around me. So this is the type of quality person I'm so excited about sharing with you guys. But 116 in 2016. Any goals for 2000? I guess I was going to say that's why I wanted to make sure to let you hear who we're talking to again. But undock your question box in your little key that you brought up when you went to GoToWebinar. Always undock that question box and you type in a question there. That's why we use the GoToWebinar platform. So instead of trying to unmute everybody and have such background noise, that's why we use this platform, so we can keep the sound integrity real strong. And we actually put these webinars and conference calls, excuse me, on our website so that you can access them. Any goals that you'd be willing to share of what you're looking at for 2016, Zach?
Yeah, of course. My last year was my first year doing this, okay, and my biggest month was right around 35,000 annualized premium. So I want to break the 50,000 in a month bubble. That's something I'd really be excited about doing. That's it's one of my main goals. Obviously, the 6-figure income's great, but I just want to help as many families out achieve their goals as possible. That's really what it's all about.
Fantastic. And guys, there's nothing wrong with saying that you want to make money. Just know, and you know how I always end our calls, and I'll end that here, probably here within just the next couple minutes. But yeah, the bottom line is, how many folks can you help? The more people you help, the more money you will make. It can't get any more simpler than that. Zach, thank you for your time. You've been very generous. I will also thank your manager, Alex Joyce. I'm paying for everything next week for him, so I'm already thanking him. But looking forward to that, maybe of getting several more of you guys down with us, maybe the next time around when we're having this trip. All right, my friend. Thank you again for your time, my friend.
I really appreciate the opportunity, and like you said, the best way to help yourself is by helping other people. So.
Dynamite. Words to live by, guys. This has been fun. I hope that this has been beneficial for you, and looking forward to Tuesday, being able to share with everyone how to write how to make $116,000 in 2016 by writing Mutual of Omaha. And Adam Chate, who was in here yesterday, did a phenomenal job, and I believe, I know for a fact, if you're able to connect on Tuesday, you will be able to come away feeling that you've got some excellent training, excellent fertile ground to be able to grow in. Three things I'm always imploring you to keep at the front of your mind. If you ever come over to our house, you'll see them in a couple different places in my home, where I say, number one, make it happen for my income. This is something I still put in myself. You know what? I like that. I'm going to put that on my rear view mirror in my car. I don't have it there yet, but I've got it at a couple strategic places in my home. My workbench out in the garage, in my bathroom mirror. Make it happen for my income in 2016. But make it happen for your income. Number two, make it happen for your family. Bless your family with wonderful trips. Sending my wife and daughter off. I won't have time to take off the time, but putting them in a phenomenal hotel for just a couple days. They want to play down in Florida on the beaches, and be able to bless them with that. We do a wonderful trip every year down at Disney. You've heard me talk about that. I couldn't do that without this business. So make it happen for your family. And I always say, number three, if you take care of number three, the first two always has to follow. If you will go and make it happen for a family and protect them, the first two always happens. Tuesday, 11 a.m., next Friday, 11 a.m. It happens every week. Many blessings on all of you guys listening, and go make it happen. God bless.